So which is better, property or shares, when it comes to both replacing your day job income and building long-term wealth? Hi, my name is Tony Law, and today I'd like to really break this down for you so you can make the best possible decision when it comes to where to put your hard-earned cash. But full disclosure, I have a good-sized property portfolio, but I also spend around 30 minutes a day actively trading shares, and so I am not biased. I invest in both. But for this video, let's assume you've got a fixed pot of money to invest. And if you're going to be investing in shares, you're going to be doing it passively. And by that, I mean you're not going to be day trading. And lastly, you also want to replace the income from your day job as a priority. So you can then choose what you want to do with your time, which of course is what financial freedom is all about. So I've broken this down into 15 different categories, but don't worry, I'm going to race through them really, really quickly because I don't want to be boring. And with each one, I've given either shares or property 1 point. So hang around until the end because you might be surprised which one comes out on top. And lastly, before we dive in, none of this is to be considered financial advice. These are just my personal views, so you need to do your own research. So let's start off with ease of entry. So with shares, it's really, really easy, isn't it? You basically open up an app on your phone and buy whatever it is you want to buy or trade whatever it is you're going to trade, depending on your strategy. With property, it's much more difficult. You're going to need to get a deposit, probably, or at least some kind of down payment, mortgage, probably. There's lots more paperwork. And of course, the sale may fall through. So the clear winner here is shares. What about capital growth? And I'm talking about long-term capital growth. Well, shares often see faster capital growth, especially growth shares or tech stocks, for example. Property, generally speaking, is going to be slower in terms of growth, but far more stable over time, especially in established areas. So the reluctant winner here is shares. Let's talk about income generation. So here, of course, I'm talking about income that's going to replace your day job. So shares pay dividends, don't they? And they can provide a passive income, but you need a sizable pot to replace your day job, I would suggest. Property, on the other hand, gives you a rental income and is much more consistent and can be high with the right property investing strategy. So for me, the clear winner is property. Let's talk about risk. Now, shares, I think, have relatively low risk if you're investing in stocks like anything that's in the S&P 100 or the S&P 500. And of course, buying at the right levels and of course, making sure that you're protecting yourself. But maybe that's for another video. But of course, there are going to be much higher risks on smaller individual stocks, very generally speaking. Property, on the other hand, is less volatile day to day, but you still need to be very selective about what you're buying, especially in today's market. So I'm going to say that the reluctant winner on this one is property. What about liquidity? So can you sell quickly? Well, of course, shares, it's instant. You can sell in seconds. Property, on the other hand, can be a complete pain, can't it? And selling can take weeks or more likely months or maybe half a year before you actually sell that property. And of course, it's going to involve a lot more fees and agents, so on. And of course, the sale might fall out of bed. So the absolute clear winner on this one is shares. Now let's talk about the power of leverage. Well, with shares, you have very limited leverage for the average investor. And I'm going to suggest that leverage with shares is a little more riskier. Property, on the other hand, of course, leverage goes hand in hand with property, doesn't it? It's relatively easy to get a 75% loan to value mortgage and potentially much higher than that. And of course, there's thousands or hundreds of mortgages readily available. And so I think that the very clear winner here is, of course, property. What about tax treatment? And I'm going to make it really clear from the outset here. It's essential that you speak to your accountant in this regard. But just giving my personal view, shares have capital gains tax and they also have dividend tax that you're going to be paying. But they are much more favourable in ISAs, SIPPs and SSASs, at least in the UK. Property has rents that are going to be taxable. And of course, there's the dreaded Section 24. Capital gains is going to be chargeable when selling. but probably better to own properties in a company name. But again, I want to make it clear here, you need to be speaking to an accountant here. So I really thought hard about this one. And it's a very deep and complicated subject, this. Naturally, I'm not an accountant, but I'm going to actually label this one a draw. I think it's a draw for both shares and property. By the way, if you're finding this video helpful, it'd just be awesome if you could click on that thumbs up button. It really helps our channel, if that's okay. Now let's talk about control over your investment. There is no control over share prices. Let's make that absolutely clear. Only the rules around the strategy that you're using to invest in stocks and shares. Property, on the other hand, has a very high level of control. You get to choose the properties that you buy, the tenants that actually occupy your properties, any maintenance that you need to do, any improvements, etc. So the clear winner on this one is definitely property. Now I'd like to sort of touch on knowledge and also any mindset barriers, because I think this is quite an interesting one. So with shares, I think the shares can be intimidating at first, especially if you're completely new to any kind of shares or trading, and there's a big void of knowledge there. But all the strategies with shares are learnable. There's no question about that. If I can do it, anyone can do it. My favorite phrase. What is more challenging with shares, in my opinion, is the mindset aspect. And this is particularly relevant in a falling market. Property, on the other hand, is more intuitive for most people. The strategies, once you've learned them, are actually very straightforward to apply. And most people feel less of a mindset because it's a bricks and mortar type product. You can literally go up to it and you can touch your investment. So for me, I think the winner here is property. Now let's talk about downside protection. Well, with shares, you have stop losses that you can put in place for most strategies, and hedging is possible, but it does require skill. Property, on the other hand, I think is actually less affected by panic selling, and values certainly don't tend to fluctuate visibly because you tend to hold on to properties for the very, very long term, don't you? So I'm actually going to give this one a draw. I'm going to give each a point. What about ongoing management? Well, shares can be set and forget once you've invested, depending on the strategy, or maybe you're going to be more involved on a day-to-day basis, like I am with trading. Property, on the other hand, can be more intensive, especially if you're self-managing, or completely hands-off if you're going to be using a competent agent. So the winner really does entirely depend, actually, on the strategies that you're following, and of course, whether you're going to be using an agent with the property. So I'm going to call this one a draw. I think that's fair. What about diversification? A little bit of an unusual one, this one, but some people do want diversification. Well, with shares, it's really easy to diversify across sectors, geographies, even industries. Property, on the other hand, is somewhat more difficult to diversify. But actually, I don't think you should be diversifying anyway once you've determined the strategy that's right for you. So I'm going to say the winner here is actually going to be shares, naturally, because that does, of course, give you the biggest level of diversification. What about global opportunities? So this is a little bit similar to the last one, where with shares, it's easy to invest globally from your phone. With property, it is, of course, much, much more harder to buy property abroad. Logistically, there's going to be legal issues, there's going to be tax. How do you manage that property? So the clear winner here is definitely going to be shares. Now, what about the possibility to add value? Well, with shares, you can't. There's nothing that you can do to the value of an individual share directly to influence its value. Property, on the other hand, there is so much that you can do to add value to a property. And we've got a brilliant video coming out that's going to cover this. So the clear winner here is definitely property. Now let's talk about an interesting one, which is the possibility to buy your investment below market value. With shares, some strategies might allow you to buy shares at a bit of a discount, but some or many people would actually argue that the moment that you buy that share or you invest in that share, that is actually an accurate price or value of those shares in that moment. Property, on the other hand, without question, you can buy property at a big discount. And I've done this many, many times. And in that way, built equity in from day one. So the clear winner here is property. So with property having won 10 of my categories, property is the clear winner. But as I said at the start, this is just my personal view. The truth is, I believe both property and shares should have a place in your investing strategy. But I strongly believe most people should focus on property first and then shares. This is because whilst there's no question property is more difficult to get into initially, you have the potential to add massive value to a property, and you can potentially buy properties below market value. Now, both of these approaches give you the ability to potentially recycle your cash back out of a deal quickly. So you can then use that investment to kind of put into the next property. Taking this approach gives you the best opportunity to quickly replace your day job income. Once you've done that, I believe any spare income or savings that you have should be funneled towards simple but profitable trading strategies. This is basically the way that I did it, and it works. I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next one, and also watch this video here because it's relevant to you and I know you're going to find that one really interesting.